The Dallas Cowboys just added exactly what the NFL feared. So we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Dallas Cowboys news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Dallas Cowboys sign DC Defenders DB Gion Conley. The DC Defenders have sent another player to the NFL's ranks. DB Gion Conley, a former first-round NFL draft pick, is signing with the Dallas Cowboys, per Adam Schefter. Conley was a big offseason addition for DC and their defense. He ended up playing in 7 games with the team, starting in 5 of those matchups. Conley totaled 25 tackles, a TFL, and 2 interceptions this season while adding a couple of PBUs to his name, according to PFF data. While Gion Conley may not have been the top cornerback in the UFL, he put some solid tape together enough to get back to the NFL's ranks. Gion was a part of a DC Defenders secondary that saw some changes throughout the year, such as the midseason release of starting safety DJ Swearinger. Conley had previously been in the NFL for a few years, but injuries derailed his career. The potential is clearly there, and he'll have to hope he can prove to the Dallas Cowboys that he's deserving of a roster spot. Dallas loves their spring football athletes, and they currently roster former Michigan Panthers DB Josh Butler on their practice squad, someone he'll be competing with. Additionally, they signed all-UFL LB Willie Harvey Jr. today. Both had worked out with Dallas last week. Without the national platform that the UFL provided Conley with, who knows if this opportunity would have been possible. You can stay up to date with all UFL to NFL signings with our official tracker. A bold scenario would see the Dallas Cowboys deal Dak Prescott at the trade deadline during the 2024 season. As part of a series of bold predictions from Bleacher Report's Brad Gagnon, one of the scenarios would see the Cowboys unload Prescott to a team desperate for a quarterback. Quarterbacks rarely move in the middle of seasons, but most of the ingredients are there in this case, Gagnon wrote on June 21st. Now, if a contender were to suffer a major injury at quarterback, or if a team like Las Vegas or Seattle finds itself in contention in spite of what it has at quarterback, a deadline blockbuster involving Prescott could come to fruition. Gagnon noted that the scenario is predicated Dallas falling out of contention, potentially leading to the Cowboys deciding to move the 3-time Pro Bowl quarterback as he goes through the final season of his contract. Why the Cowboys would trade Dak Prescott? The Cowboys and Prescott are embroiled in a contract impasse. While Dallas remains adamant that they want to get a long-term deal done with their franchise quarterback, there has been little traction in contract talks. That's not even mentioning how the Cowboys still have to get long-term deals done with Ceedee and Micah Parsons. As Gagnon mentions, Prescott's lack of postseason success, he's 2-5 in the playoffs, and has never advanced past the divisional round, may play a major role in the Cowboys deciding to move on from the 30-year-old quarterback. And if that happens, the organization could very well decide it's time to move on from Prescott, who has been part of just 2 playoff wins and has thrown 4 interceptions in the team's last 2 postseason losses, writes Gagnon. There's little doubt that Prescott will garner a big-money deal if he were to enter the free agency market. According to Spotrac, his projected market value is $53.1 million per year across 4 years for a total of over $212 million. That would make Prescott the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Considering Kirk Cousins, a quarterback who is even older than Prescott and has just 1 career playoff win to his name, just signed a 4-year, $180 million contract with the Atlanta Falcons after coming off an Achilles tear. Prescott, who finished as the runner-up in MVP voting during the 2023 season, will likely sign an even bigger deal if he were to enter free agency in 2025. Why the Seahawks would trade for Dak Prescott if the Cowboys don't want to pay Prescott north of $50 million per year? Dealing him to a team such as the Seahawks could be beneficial for both sides. Although Seattle is technically an NFC contender, they could package draft assets along with potential veteran pieces to sweeten the deal for Dallas. The Seahawks currently feature Geno Smith as their starting quarterback, but he has never won a playoff game in his career. And although he has played in the Pro Bowl over the past 2 seasons, he has never proven to be a consistent winning quarterback during his 11 seasons in the NFL. In fact, prior to the 2022 season, Smith had not served as a full-time starting quarterback since the 2014 season. The second story is Dallas Cowboys predicted to make shocking in-season trade. It's not often that star quarterbacks get traded, and it never seems to happen during the season. That won't stop Brad Gagnon of Bleacher Report from going bold with his latest predictions. Gagnon identifies potential in-season trades to monitor, including the Dallas Cowboys moving on from Dak Prescott. There's one major caveat in his prediction, which would be the Cowboys regressing and the Philadelphia Eagles establishing a firm grasp on the NFC East. And if that happens, the organization could very well decide it's time to move on from Prescott, who has been part of just 2 playoff wins and has thrown 4 interceptions in the team's last 2 postseason losses. Gagnon, Bleacher Report. Unfortunately for Dallas, regression isn't out of the realm of possibility. They were named one of the top 3 biggest losers this offseason, and they still have plenty of concerns to address. They failed to replace most of their offseason losses and ignored Prescott, wide receiver Ceedee Lamb, and head coach Mike McCarthy, who are all in the final year of their respective contracts. Once known as one of the more aggressive teams in spending, the Cowboys have become unbelievably frugal. That's why this take might be bold, but yet not unbelievable. Jerry and Stephen Jones have balked at the current quarterback's market, including $53 million per season for Jared Goff and $55 million for Trevor Lawrence. Imagine Prescott's demand of $60 million becoming a reality while the team struggles to win games. In such a situation, the Jones family won't blame the poor performance on themselves for their lack of spending. They also won't blame themselves for creating a lame duck coach and a disgruntled star receiver. Instead, they'll do what they've done in the past and blame Prescott and his salary. The only question is whether they believe that with enough conviction to make one of the boldest moves in NFL history. As the Cowboys build their WR depth chart for 2024, they can't take any spot lightly. History has shown us that backup receivers can play a major role over the course of a year, and Dallas had a really good one recently in Cedric Wilson Jr. Finding someone who can provide his level of security could be important to the upcoming season. The third story is veteran Cowboys RB in danger of being released before 2024 season. The Dallas Cowboys have made multiple additions to their running back group, but that doesn't mean that those same players will make the roster. Ezekiel Elliott is the most notable addition, but Royce Freeman is also a veteran presence on the roster. The problem for Freeman is that there is a crowd of RBs, and with young talent and unique skill sets coming into play, Blogging the Boys writer LP Cruz predicted he would end up missing the 53-man roster. Ezekiel Elliott returns to the Cowboys after 1 year away with the New England Patriots. Zeke should resume as the team's lead back, with Rico Dowdle coming in to spell Elliott. Gets another chance to contribute to the roster, Cruz predicted in a June 21st article. Failing to make the cut are veteran runners Royce Freeman and Malik Davis. Their goodbye at the end of the summer shouldn't be seen as permanent, as either could be brought back at some point during the regular season. While Cruz thinks Freeman could return, his future is uncertain. It's not an ideal situation for the veteran RB, but it is for Dallas. They don't have a proven number 1 RB at this stage, but the Cowboys do have a variety of different skill sets to consider. Royce Freeman trying to stick with Dallas. As a third-round pick by the Denver Broncos in the 2018 NFL Draft, there was legitimate hype for Freeman. He had impressed at Oregon and became the Pac-12's all-time leader in rushing touchdowns. He then entered a talented RB room with the Broncos that would allow him time to develop. And after his rookie season, there was plenty of optimism. According to Pro Football Reference, Freeman totaled 521 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns in 2018. He averaged a solid 4.0 yards per carry and offered a physical bruising option for Denver. But his role minimized and his production stalled over the next 2 years. eventually being released by Denver shortly before the 2021 season. Over the past 3 NFL seasons, Freeman has struggled to find a long-term home. The former Duck has played for the Carolina Panthers, Houston Texans, and the Los Angeles Rams. The Cowboys are hoping his 2023 stint with the Rams is a sign of things to come, as Freeman averaged 4.1 yards per carry on his way to a season with 319 yards and 2 touchdowns. Freeman isn't only Cowboys' vet-facing cut line. Besides Freeman, another noticeable veteran that could be released is wide receiver Jalen Tolbert. Tolbert was a third-round pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, but has not properly established himself in Dallas. Inside, the star writer Mark Heaney believes Tolbert could be cut in favor of young talent like UDFA signing Ryan Florney.